Hello and welcome everyone. I'll be explaining and discussing a very interesting problem, 1700 rating, and that problem is from Codeforces 551 Div 2, Problem C, Serval in parentheses sequence. Before this problem, you need to be aware about a concept which is known as regular um, or correct parentheses sequence or regular bracket sequence. How to calculate the regular bracket sequence, or what is that actually. Okay, you need to have knowledge of this concept before jumping into this problem. So I recommend you, if you don't know, you can Google on it and try to understand what is a regular bracket sequence or correct parentheses sequence. Okay, now I'm assuming that you know the concept, and now we're going to be jumping into the solution, first explaining the statement of the problem. Okay, so so in this problem, basically you're going to be given a string containing only three types of characters. One is open brackets. Okay, one type of character is open brackets, the other type of is closing brackets, and the other type of is the like the question mark character. Okay, the question mark character like this. Okay, so these three types of characters will be inside that string that's going to be given by you, okay, to you. And what you have to do is you have to output another string which won't consist any types of any kind of this question mark character. Rather, it would only contain either open bracket and closing bracket, but there's a condition. You have to fulfill some condition, and by fulfilling that condition, only then, if you somehow fulfill that condition, you can only print that string, which only consists of opening and closing brackets. Now, what are those conditions? Uh, and also, one thing to notice is that it might be possible that you might not get any way to fix this condition to make the condition to make the string. Okay, so if it doesn't fit in any condition that you cannot make any way to make this string, then the answer would be this like an emoji of sad emoji. Okay, something like that. So you have to also detect whether uh, there's a solution of this string for this string or not. Now, what is the condition basically? The condition is, okay, they've said that yes, you're going to be given a string, and you need to make sure that the whole string itself is a regular bracket sequence or correct parenthesis sequence. Okay, the whole string, remember what I'm saying, the whole freaking string should be a regular parentheses bracket sequence. But each and every prefix of that string apart from the regular full string, I'm telling you, the full string will be regular, has to be regular bracket sequence, but not all the prefix apart from that. Okay, so all the prefix apart from the whole string will not be a regular, should not be a regular correct parenthesis sequence. I hope you get that. Let me explain you with an example. Okay, let's open this window up. It's taking time, lagging out. Okay, if we could analyze this test case here, I've got a 6 length string, and in this string You have also said that three types of characters will be opening brackets, closing brackets, and question marks. Uh, Remember, all the question marks need to be replaced with either open or closing brackets if you find out the solution. Now, okay, come on, it's taking so much time. I gotta do it in Paint, I guess. There you go, Mr. Paint. So we're actually gonna be discussing with this example. Okay, this example string here. It will fit to explain. So the example looks something like okay. So I've got a 6 length string, one one closing bracket, and the question marks character 1 2 3 4 and then 5. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5. This is the closing bracket right here. And remember what I told you. Yes, uh, as you can see here, we know that there is an answer exists. There does exist an answer, and let's forget that. But let's just try to analyze the conditions that we're going to be given. Now, I can make a string like this, and you know that this string is what? Fully functionally um, a regular bracket sequence, which is also maintaining the condition for each of the prefix apart from the whole string, which is not regular bracket sequence. For example, if I say, what about this prefix here? Is that prefix, uh, can we call this prefix a regular bracket sequence? No, we cannot. It is not. Because from the definition of regular bracket sequence, it does not fit there. Not this and not this too. Okay, because this and this gets eliminated, and then these two closing brackets remain. Also not this and also not this. Sorry, the full string always does maintain the regular bracket sequence. What if we would have made something like this out of this string? Okay, I'm replacing it, this a question mark. When I replace this question mark with this open bracket and something like this, if I create something like this type of string can also be created from here. 2 3 4. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6. 1 2 3 4 5 6. Look, now I can say that yes, the full string is also regular bracket sequence, but there's a condition. This prefix also suggests a regular bracket sequence, which does contradicts with the other conditions that the statement gave us. So I have to also be careful about the other prefixes apart from the whole string, because the whole string will be regular bracket sequence, but not the other prefixes. Okay, these sort of prefixes apart from the whole string should not be regular. Now the question comes, how am I going to measure that? There's one way that I thought about, and I also got wrong answer with that. So I'll show you why I got wrong answer. So the way I thought was that, okay, so as they are defining something like this, I know that to make the whole string regular bracket sequence, I know that the first string will always be a closing bracket and the last string will always be a opening bracket, like that. And apart from these two characters, the first and last two characters, I need to make sure that the rest of the characters, they do have to become a regular bracket sequence. If I could somehow make this string replacing each and every targeted um, question mark, replacing with it as open and closing brackets, if I could replace that somehow and try to maintain that part, this inside part, a regular bracket sequence, then this is my possible answer. Otherwise it's not. Yes, my approach was right in a sense, but my approach in code was wrong. I did a wrong implementation for this problem, because for replacing this uh, question mark, uh, I have to make sure about the I cannot always, what I actually tried to implement inside that part is I tried to maintain for each and every like closing bracket, I tried to make the opening bracket as fast as possible, as quick as possible, okay, as direct as possible. But in this way, there might be some cases where it does not fit the answer. So that's why I got wrong answer on test case 6 2 times. And then finally, I figured out from the tutorial sections and that there is another solution for that, which I can explain. Is that if I say, when we're given something like a question mark answer, okay, when we're given something like a question mark type of thing, and we know that we will insert either the closing or the opening bracket. Now what are the things that necessarily mean? Now, in order to make a full string regular bracket sequence, the first condition is that the whole length will have to be even. That's for sure. If it's odd, then there's no answer. If it's even, so if it's even, I have to maintain that. Okay, it's even. Now, if it's even, and for each this is a condition, for a general condition for regular bracket sequence. In a regular bracket sequence, you will always have, if n is even, you would always have n by 2. You always need to have n by 2 opening and n by 2, the other n by 2 closing bracket characters. That's a must needed elements to make regular bracket sequence. So my condition was, or the solution that I found was something like that. I will insert my first, okay, so first of all, I will try to find out, okay, how many question mark characters left where I can include my extra opening brackets, sorry, closing brackets. For I already know that to make a string regular bracket sequence, I would always have n by 2 closing brackets. So my initial count would be n by 2. First I'm dealing with what? Only the closing brackets. Then the rest I will just deal with opening brackets like this. Okay? But my first priority is my closing bracket here. So what I'm about to do is I will count how many of closing brackets are there inside my string. And to make regular bracket sequence, a string regular bracket sequence, I know that there has to be n by 2 regular bracket sequence. After that, I will subtract from n by 2 to how many closing brackets do I have. Okay, and this part, this count, this number is going to give me how many numbers of closing brackets are left to be inserted. And what I will do is I will put that count and insert closing brackets according to what is the first character that is coming, which is question mark. I'm just going to be doing that successively, okay? Respectively, I'm going to be doing and inserting for each and every question mark. I'm going to be inserting the closing brackets. After finishing that, if there are any if there are any question mark characters left, I'm just gonna swap it with my opening brackets. So with this implementation, I can easily be sure that either this whole string is gonna be regular bracket sequence or not. If it's not, then the answer is no. I cannot have it. But if it's yes, then the thing that I would do is I will check the observation that I did at first. Yes, my observation at first was right, but my implementation at first was wrong. So then what I would do is, yes, I would do simply this. When I'm making sure that my whole string is regular bracket sequence, okay, it is wholly regular bracket sequence, then the only thing that I'm gonna have to make sure is the rest of the characters apart from the first and the last one, whether they are regular bracket sequence or not. If they are, then I'm totally sure that this is the final string. Why I'm saying that, I'm only taking care about after making sure that the whole string is regular bracket sequence, then I'm only caring about the inside characters apart from the first and the last, because it doesn't matter what happens here if uh, if if apart from this, if this part whole um, or this part or any of the part, okay, if the whole string apart from the first and the last character, if it becomes um, yeah, so the thing that I was talking about is that I'm only going to be making sure that, yes, apart from the first and the last characters, the whole string inside that is regular or not. If it's not regular, remember, if it's not regular inside the first and the last, what I'm talking about inside. If it's not regular inside the first and last, then I'm sure that I cannot make any answer out of it, because there will always be some characters left. If it's not regular, there will always be some characters left inside them, and if it does become available, then the whole character is like what, odd or something, then I cannot make it. No way around. So let's take you to the code part here. What we did here is checking out whether n is odd or even. If it's odd, then I cannot make any answer, no way whatsoever. So, and if it's even, then as I told you, that I will be checking out the count of the closing brackets and what are the left closing brackets that are left, and swapping it with the whatever of question marks that I have, and doing this, just doing this in here, this part here, and then checking out whether my this character is, and then the rest of the question marks, I'm swapping it with what? Opening brackets, as I told you, as goes for the instruction to fulfill for the other question marks, swapping it with opening brackets. And then this part is, if you know regular bracket sequence count, how to measure whether a string is regular bracket sequence or not, you will understand that. Again, I've told you to look at and search about it on Google first. So this is the part where I'm actually measuring whether this whole string is like what, a regular or not. Okay, regular bracket sequence or not, and I'm making sure with this. If it's not, then I cannot find any answer. That's why there is a sad emoji that I put out here, and after that, after that first and the last, apart from the first and the last characters, I'm just making sure that my other characters, regular subsequencing measurable perspectives here. So apart from the first and the last characters, that's why I is beginning from 1 to till n-2. Okay, and just checking out whether it's regular or not. If it's not regular, then also I cannot find any answer. If it's regular, then of course there's definitely an answer, because there has to be an answer. Okay, so I hope I made you understand that. So till next time, goodbye.